Good morning. Today's topic is going to be on editing as an art form, editing as structural mercy. But first, just to set a mood, if you will. By the way, today is Wednesday, March the 11th, 2026. And today's poem is by Maggie Smith and is entitled Good Bones. Life is short, though I keep this from my children. Life is short, and I've shortened mine 1,000 delicious, ill-advised ways. 1,000 deliciously ill-advised ways. Ways I'll keep from my children. The world is at least 50% terrible, and that's a conservative estimate, though I keep this from my children. For every bird there is a stone to be thrown. For every loved child there is another that is broken, bagged, and sunk in a lake. Life is short, the world is at least half terrible, and for every kind stranger there is another one who would break you, though I keep this from my children. I am trying to sell them the world. Any decent realtor walking you through a real shithole chirps on the good bones. This place could be beautiful, right? You could make this place beautiful. You could make this place beautiful. We took a look at a home, my partner and I, a few days ago. The home was built, the house was built about 100 years ago. And it certainly has its character, and it certainly has its character flaws. And the sellers lied on their report about there being a furnace in the crawl space, and it does not exist, but it's on the paper, right? And they wrote it off as just an oversight, just an error. And as I was looking around, this is before I knew anything about the furnace thing, but as I'm looking around, I was already making the improvements in my mind. This wall could be taken out. This place could be a great place for a painting, for a poster that I admire. This yard could be a good place for the doggo to play in. I was already looking at the space and how we could make it beautiful together. And that's probably not going to happen with that particular space. But the point is, looking at your art, looking at the world around you, looking at the things that you feel and the friction, take a moment to think how you, and the way you love the world and the way you see the world, how you could improve it. Your own tiny space, your own little cold room without a furnace to warm it. Editing is structural mercy. Not just stylistically, not just aesthetically, structural. The foundation of the home of art that you're building. It might sound dramatic or something. It's a simple cut. It's a simple paragraph. It's a simple word. Taking a chunk of words and trimming out the excess. If you spend your life speaking to rooms of people, making art on stage in front of people, sitting across a table where you're entertaining 12 people, or in a small room where you are making 20 to 30 laugh, attention is sacred. Getting their attention on you is the important thing. This is the way you deliver your story or whatever it is you're trying to put forward on that stage. A lot of people consider editing to be trying to achieve perfection in what you put out, and that's simply not true. Editing is about the commitment to the story, to the art itself. The stone that sat in front of the sculptor that wanted to be David didn't stop when it resembled David. He stopped editing when it became David in his heart, in his hands. The moment you decide what stays and what goes, you are deciding what you actually believe matters in your show. It's a choice. Back in the mid-early days, the comedy club days, the still performing on the street days, There was an effect, a routine that I dearly loved. It got laughs in the right places. It built an audience if I was on the street. It connected with the audience if I was in the comedy clubs. It made a mark. It made an extra handhold to keep climbing that wall. And there came a time when it became inappropriate. Now I could argue and look back at it and say maybe it was just inappropriate the whole time and I just didn't recognize it. But that's also a strong point as well. When I saw that for what it was, I knew I had to change it. And I pushed back and I rebelled and I thought, this needs to be. This is a part of my personality. It's something that I spent years working on. Why should I take it out? The answer is because it no longer fit who I was or what I wanted to say. Period. And so I cut it. And the first thing that I noticed when I cut it from the act is I got right up to the precipice of this is where this bit is supposed to go. And you should just, do it one more time. You just keep, people are kind of expecting it because it's one of your signature pieces. And then stepping away from that precipice and saying, no, it's cut. It is cut. It's done. And it was one of the strongest shows I did. The thread of the narrative that I was accomplishing in that particular show and the ones that followed after it was now uninterrupted by something that no longer fit who I was. And I was the better for it because I edited it out. And that was a practical moment in recognizing that what I was saying was no longer true in the concept of that particular trick. And I could alter it. I could change the trick, the routine itself. And that would be fine. But I found once I cut it, I no longer need it. And the show could breathe on its own. And everything became more clear. The story moved faster. The mysteries landed harder. The laughter came more naturally. It wasn't a set of this joke is going to land in this one and this is the knockout punch. I no longer had that. I took the net away and I found something stronger. And it was a mercy because I could have stagnated by holding on, if you see what I mean. If you create things for other people, speakers, storytellers, writers, performers, teachers, this lesson will eventually find you. Because the longer you stay in the work, the more you realize something really kind of counterintuitive. More material does not mean more depth. More clarity means more depth. Clarity almost always requires subtraction. When people struggle with consistency in creative work, they often assume that the problem is motivation. They think they need an inspiration. They think they need to feel like it. But that's really the issue from my experience. The real issue is nothing has been edited down to its essential structure. When a talk is bloated, you hesitate to deliver it. When a story is unfocused, you find excuses not to rehearse. When a project is cluttered, it becomes emotionally heavy, even just to approach it. And then people just say, well, I'm not in the mood. But mood isn't the problem, right? The structure is. Editing is how we make commitments visible. Editing is art. Editing is adding to the commitment that you've already established with the art form you're trying to put up on the stage. It's the moment where we say, this is the point. This is the focus. This is what I truly want to say. This is what I want these people walking out of this room remembering and contemplating tomorrow. Not 12 points, not 30 supporting thoughts. One. Your audience can carry one out the door. They can carry it with them. They can remember it. They can act on it. That's mercy. You are not making them commit to something they don't have the capability of bearing. Once something is edited down to its true spine, something really amazing happens. It becomes easier to show up. You don't dread performing it. You don't feel overwhelmed writing it. You don't second guess yourself on stage going, should I have done that trick this time? And you don't avoid practicing. The work becomes lighter because the unnecessary weight has been removed. And that's what structure does. It's finding the foundation inside the container. Mood is temporary. Structure is reliable. A mood says, do I feel like this today? Structure says, now it's time to do it here. This is the shape of the work you're doing. The more experienced you become, the more ruthless your editing is going to get. Not cruel, not cynical, just clear. You start recognizing the difference between something that is interesting and something that is essential, something that is fun or fooling or humorous versus something that is you, that is your heart. Essential things like that are rare. You can find interesting things just taking a walk. You can look at the beauty of the trees and the green of the leaves and the blue of the sky and the snow on the ground. There's a million different distractions. Essential things are rare. And the audience can tell the difference. I'm going to tell you straight up. They can tell the difference right away. They know when something isn't you. They will lean forward when they say when they hear something truth, and their minds will drift when they hear something that isn't. Structural mercy. It's one of the quiet disciplines that separates people who occasionally create something good from people who build a body of work over time. Not the louder people, not the more charismatic people, just the people who are willing to cut through what doesn't belong. The butchers, if you will, trimming the fat, taking away the gristle, taking away the part that is not going to add flavor to the food they are preparing. Cut something. Remove 10%, remove 5%. See what happens to the piece when the unnecessary parts are trimmed away. You might discover that you thought you needed more inspiration simply because you needed less weight. Yeah, I hear you. And if you're someone who cares about showing up thoughtfully in front of other people, whether that's on a stage or across a table or through a camera lens like this one, then editing will quietly become one of the most compassionate skills you can develop for yourself, for them, simply for the art. People are generous with their time, but not infinitely generous with their time and what they will listen to. If you're doing this kind of work, like I am, refining your voice, shaping your stories, building something that lasts a little longer than a passing mood, keep going. It's going to be good. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be you, this art that you're building. This is the good work. And I promise to keep practicing too. There's a space at the table for the muse, and you have to set it right so that they feel welcome. Clean the plates, right? Polish the silver. Make sure there's no extra dirt lingering or anything that isn't you. I guess I'm just going to leave it at that. Keep you on the plate. Thanks for sitting across the table. More soon. I appreciate you listening.